If you are thinking about starting a business, then you need to choose the right business structure. If you don't, it could result in a wide variety of serious problems, including having your personal assets seized, or you could be sued. Unfortunately, many business owners do not know which business structure to choose, so they just guess.
You are made of stupid.
Oftentimes, this results in business owners choosing the wrong structure and suffering massively as a result. Two of the most common business structures are the LLC and the S-Corporation. In today's video, I'm going to explain why new business owners should consider starting with an LLC, then eventually transitioning over to an S-Corporation. But make sure that you stay all the way until the end of this video, because I want to make sure that you choose the right business structure so that you don't have to suffer some potentially negative consequence later down the road. Choosing the right entity is one of the most important things that you can do as a self-employed business owner. Without further ado, let's dive in. All right, guys, why should you start out with an LLC? If you're just starting out your business, you might be trying to choose between a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, or perhaps some other corporation. All of these business structures have their benefits, but for most people, an LLC is going to make the most sense. And here's why. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. As the name suggests, LLCs limits your liability, which is absolutely crucial for protecting yourself financially. But Karlton, what exactly is a liability in the first place? Let me explain. A liability is a responsibility or a legal obligation that a business owner might have to reimburse another party for losses they suffered as a result of a business activity. For example, if you own an ice cream shop and if one of your customers slips and falls at your restaurant because the floors were wet and he gets an injury, then this would be a liability. The reason is because the person suffered a financial loss in the form of medical bills as the direct result of something your business did, which was having water on the floor. So if your business is an LLC, then you and the other owners would be shielded from having your personal assets, such as your cars, homes, bank accounts, seized in order to pay for the liabilities. Instead, only business assets can be seized to pay for these liabilities. This includes business bank accounts, business equipment, business vehicles, and business real estate. So essentially, having an LLC puts a legal barrier around your business that protects you from experiencing complete financial ruin in the event that your business has to pay for large liabilities, such as damages from a lawsuit against your business. Now, do sole proprietorships and partnerships have liability protection? Taxpayers, it is crucial to realize not all business structures have the magical liability protection that LLCs have. In fact, neither sole proprietorships nor general partnerships have liability protection. This means that if you own a sole proprietorship or a GP, a general partnership, and if your business is sued, or if you have a large debt called in by one of your creditors, then you could possibly be forced to hand over your personal assets. And that's right, all of the money that you have in your personal bank account could possibly be seized if you own one of these types of businesses. This is why I recommend that new business owners strongly consider starting out with an LLC right out the gate. Some people don't want to take the time to set up an LLC because they think partnerships or sole proprietorships are going to be easier to get up and running. But let me tell you right now, there is nothing easier about being sued by a customer, a client, or a creditor and being forced to just surrender your personal bank accounts because you had no liability protection. Would you want to give away all the money you have in a lawsuit? Yeah, I didn't think so. So let's talk about pass-through entities. Another important benefit of LLCs is that they are pass-through entities. This means that the taxes pass through the business onto your personal tax returns. So you won't have to be taxed twice, once at the corporate level and once at the individual level. Some other corporate structures, aka the C-Corp, are not pass-through entities and business owners are taxed twice. Partnerships and sole proprietorships are also pass-through entities, but they just don't have liability protection as we discussed earlier. The reason why LLCs are so popular and the reason why I recommend them to so many business owners when they are just getting started in business is because they have the liability protection of a corporation, but they're taxed like a sole proprietorship or a partnership. So in other words, LLCs give you the best of both worlds, which makes them the ideal business structure to start out with when you're first creating your company. Now, if LLCs are so great, then why ever change structures? Now that you know why LLCs are so great, you might be wondering, why should anyone ever abandon the LLC to a different corporate structure? Well, despite how amazing they are, LLCs do have one feature which can be a bit of an issue as your business starts to grow. This feature is self-employment tax, and it's on all of your business's taxable income for the year.
Oh, hell no!
Self-employment taxes are quite hefty. In fact, they are 15.3%. 12.4 is just the Social Security, 2.9 is the Medicare. So this means that if you own an LLC and you generate $100,000 in taxable income, you're paying $15,300 in self-employment tax, even though half of it's deductible. The reason why self-employment taxes are so high is because when you are self-employed, you're making both your own and your company's contributions to FICA taxes. FICA taxes are taxes that were created under the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, which was signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1935. They are the taxes that both companies and individuals have to pay towards Social Security and Medicare. Karlton's teaching you some history today. You see, regular W-2 employees do not have to pay self-employment taxes. They only have to pay 7.65% of FICA taxes. Their employer pays the other 7.65%, AKA coming out to a total of 15.3%. Guys, listen, this 15.3% that goes towards Social Security and Medicare is what we refer to as self-employment taxes. So what does this mean for you? Essentially, it means that Social Security and Medicare taxes are twice as expensive when you're self-employed. And if you have an LLC, you will have to pay self-employment taxes at 15.3%. Now, for example, in 2023, you only have to make Social Security contributions for the first $160,200 of income you generate that's self-employed. But many LLC owners do not make more than this amount, and thus all of their taxable income is subject to self-employment taxes. The good news is that we can actually lower our self-employment taxes significantly by switching from an LLC to an S-corporation. An S-Corp is a type of corporation that business owners with 100 or fewer shareholders can use as a corporate structure. It's called an S-Corp because the rules for this type of corporation are laid out in subchapter S in Chapter 1 of the Internal Revenue Code. S-Corp share some similarities to LLCs. For example, they're all pass-through entities. S-Corps are pass-through like LLCs. You're not taxed twice. However, there's one crucial difference between an S-Corp and an LLC that I really want you to walk away with. With an S-Corp, you can divide your taxable income into a salary portion and a business distribution portion. When you do this, you only have to pay FICA taxes on the business salary portion. So if you're making $100,000 and you give yourself a $40,000 salary, on my right hand here, you're paying 15.3% on that $40,000. The other $60,000 is only subject to federal taxes and state taxes. 15.3% on $60K is $9,180. So you would save over $9,000 in taxes by just having an S-Corp if you're making $100,000. Hopefully I'm helping somebody save some money in taxes right now. Hello, Hawaii vacation. Hello, just paid off my credit card. Hello, I just made another down payment on something. Wouldn't you rather keep the money that you give to the government in your pocket if you knew that you could?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It is important to keep in mind though, if you're going to switch from an LLC to an S-Corp, that you will have to pay yourself a reasonable salary. Generally speaking, a reasonable salary is anywhere between 30 to 40% of your business's profits. The IRS does not believe that your salary is reasonable if you're only paying yourself out 3 to 5% of the entire profits that your business made. This is why they call it a reasonable salary. So when should you make the switch? Even though you can save a ton of money by switching to an S-Corp from an LLC, there are still some expenses with running an LLC that you have to take into consideration. For example, franchise taxes, tax preparation fees, the expense of switching to the S-Corp. On average, tax preparation fees for corporations are going to be a couple of $1,000s, and franchise taxes are going to be anywhere between $200 to $800. S-Corp owners also have to take payroll. That could be another $500 to $1,000 a year. You can expect to pay around $3,000 to $4,000 per year to have your S-Corp. So it only makes sense to switch to the S-Corp once your LLC is making enough money. And for many of my followers, I have advised them that $50,000 in net profit is the threshold to switch to an S-Corp. So this means that once you start generating more than $40,000 to $50,000 in business profit, it starts to make a lot of sense to minimize your FICA tax obligations and to take payroll. For some LLCs, this might happen in the first year. For some people, it may take a couple of years, but generally speaking, once your business clears 40 to 50,000 in profit, it's time to start thinking seriously about switching to an S-Corp. Guys, listen, I can talk on this topic all day, and to be completely honest, I am going to continue to hammer this topic over and over and over again because I know the more I talk about switching from an LLC to an S-Corp, the more taxpayers I'm able to help, the more conversations that you are having with your CPA, the more conversations that you are having with your parents or with someone that you know that understands taxes a little bit more than you. We've reached the end of this video, guys, so well done. You made it this far. We covered a lot, but here are the most important things I want you to walk away with. Number one, for most new business owners, the LLC is going to be the best business structure to start out with because it provides liability protection, which is also another benefit on top of the pass-through taxation. Number two, as your LLC grows, you'll have to pay higher self-employment taxes, which is why many business owners choose to switch to an S-Corp at a certain point. Number three, if you switch to an S-Corp, you will have to pay considerably less Social Security and Medicare taxes. Number four, it usually makes sense for LLC owners to switch to an S-Corp when their businesses has profited at least $50,000. If you have any questions about LLCs, S-Corps, or any other business structure, then feel free to get in touch with my team today. We can help you find the best business structure for you or give you advice about when it makes sense to switch to a different business structure. Now, you can get in touch with my team by clicking on the links below in today's description and fill out a questionnaire and apply to schedule a consultation with us. You can also find a link to speak with my real estate team. We have a lot of clients that are focused on advanced real estate strategies. I wanted to make sure you guys can touch base with them as well. Finally, I've also included a link in the description to my Tax Alchemy course, in which I teach you how to leverage powerful tax strategies to save a ton of money in taxes. These strategies are used every year by the wealthiest of people in the country. So don't miss out on this information and please don't overlook it. If you're somebody that believes that it's important to save the most amount of money possible by legally following the tax code, then I look forward to seeing you inside of the Tax Alchemy program. To every single person else, I just want to say thank you for helping us grow this channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.